My name is Gina Jones and I live in Loughborough Road. I'm a parent of 5 children. I've been living here for 30 years. All my kids are born. I love it because everything is round. You know, you've got tube stations, you've got the markets, you've got everything. You know, the people are nice, genuine good people. There's few good people around.
My name's Paul. Spent a lot of time in Stockwell Skate Park. Ancient, it's been there since supposedly 1978. And it's like the most commonly used green space in the entire borough of Lambeth. Even though it's not a green space, it's actually a concrete skateboard park, but it's the most widely used, council supported, sorry, I'll rephrase that, council unsupported facility.
My name is Patrick Kelly. I set up Bookmongers 23 years ago and I've been running it ever since.
My name is Jose Cardoso. I'm one of the co-owners here of the A&C Delicatessen at 3 Atlantic Road. Family-run business for the last 25 years.
15 years in 2 different places. One in a set of squats nearer to Camberwell for many years, long-term squats that we'd had for between 40 years and very recently. And then the council wanted the properties back and they rehoused us. After many years of us asking to be rehoused out of semi-derelict squats, they finally rehoused us. And so I've been living in the place I'm in now for about 3 years.
Around my area it's changed a little bit, but not a lot really. It's just so much flat they're building at the moment. They're knocking all the few houses and building tall buildings, and you know, different people being taken out of Brixton and different people being brought to Brixton. So I don't know why that kind of change.
Every single pub and every single bar has security on it which wants to see your passport or your debit card. And it's like there's a sort of, it's like element of gangsterism. New gangsterism, not the traditional gangsterism. There's lots of people who look like middle-aged students. And even when they're young they look middle-aged. And they're prepared for middle-aged. And they're happy to pay £900 a month and upwards for a room, which is destroying what there is of the poverty-stricken locals.
The sort of change of demographics, we've lost a lot of old customers, and in essence we're having to almost sort of start again with a lot of the sort of new people that moved into Brixton. But I suppose the biggest change I think is obviously with the big business now feels comfortable in investing money here, and that's essentially what's sort of causing a bit of concern, because it's pushing up not only sort of house rent prices but also housing prices.
I mean, I feel bad about it really, because a lot of people have been in them arches for years, and for them to just come and get them out of the area and get them out of the shops that they put effort and money and time to fix them, and then now they're saying to them, you've got to get out because we've got to fix them. They've already been fixed.
Yeah, well, it's a railway art. All these art spaces here were were never designed to be shops. They were just spaces underneath here, and they've developed over time to be into being shops. So we're right in the heart of the middle of Brixton, and right next door to the outdoor market, which is and also the indoor market, the old Granville Arcade, which historically was a very big market here in South London.
Lambeth basically says it has no responsibility with regards to the evictions on Atlantic Road. The reality is they have absolute total control over changes of uses on those properties. If they told Network Rail that you could not allow, or they would not allow any changes of uses on any of those properties, then the renovations that are taking place wouldn't be cost effective, and they would probably stop. But Lambeth refuses to do this. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, Lambeth is just as responsible for what's happening on Atlantic Road as Network Rail is. They're quite happy for that to be happening, even though they pretend they're not.
threatening or actively trying to evict loads of things all over Brixton because it's easier and better to move in people who will pay 3 times the rent. And a lot of these businesses are only barely getting by, and so they can't pay triple rent. But Starbucks can.
They're cutting back on libraries, they're cutting back on children's programs, they're cutting back on schools, and they blame it all on austerity. Where's the austerity? Brixton or London in particular is booming. This country is booming. The unemployment rate is lower than it is anywhere else in Europe. You know, it is a con. That's what it is.
Well, that is to do with climbing Brixton. It's to do with shopkeepers and the market and everything else, because they're trying to close certain parts of Brixton, I think, of the market and make it into supermarket what it is. That's what I heard.
I can't tell whether it's changed for the better or not. I think people have changed, some for the best, some for the not best, but towns and sets of shops are still quite vibrant. There's not that many boarded up shops in any of the streets around here. There's somebody who's willing to keep trying, you know what I mean? But I don't feel it's changed that much. But like I say, my world doesn't have that much relationship to the community around me, apart from using local shops and things. Generally,
I think I think they need to be. They can be very, very bad. They can be very detrimental to the way Brixton is, and the feel of Brixton and the spirit of Brixton. You know, it needs a balance to be kept. You know, we can benefit from having larger businesses come into Brixton because it draws people into the area, but not at the expense of all small businesses and older established businesses that are trading well, but are basically sort of being priced down.
Once you go into Brixton, centre Brixton, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Music, you know, the market.
When I first moved here, where we're standing now, if you looked across the street, you would see drug dealers, people buying drugs, and more disturbingly, you would see very young female prostitutes, which would break your heart. You don't see that anymore. You know, so that is one of the, you know, the more positive aspects of the change that's happening in Brixton.
I love the people because they are unself-consciously strange, and it's nice to be in an area where everyone's just worried about themselves and not worried too much about what others think of them as they walk down the street talking to themselves and stuff. And that happens a lot. Yeah, it has the strangest atmosphere, and there are the strangest people. There's a lot of broken people as well, which is sad, but the same as everyone. But you see them walking around, people still talk to them. They might begrudge it, but people still talk to the local community, others, the ones who are different, the alcoholics, the crackheads, or just the mad. People will still talk to them around here. Brixton's a bit like the Maudsley, an open day, which is great, because it's full of real people, both really frightened and really happy and, you know, really desperate, but you can tell they don't have either the desire or the ability to hide that fact, which makes it a proper community, which is why it's still a community despite 15 years of continuous change. It's the people that make it what it is, simple as that. And I don't know whether the feeling's mutual. They might not like me much, but yeah, you look around and you see the best and the worst of everybody, and it's day in, day out.
It's a nice place to be. You know, it's got a nice atmosphere. You know, it's just where you've been brought up. It's just home.